Mr. $265 million man. San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy just addressed the media after signing his contract extension with the San Francisco 49ers. On today's episode of the WayneBreezie Show, we're going to break it down, analyze it, discuss it, do whatever we need to do, have some fun, talk about the latest in 49ers news, all right here. Stick around, smash that like button. Let's get to it. What's going on, 49er faithful? Welcome to the WayneBreezie Show. I truly appreciate each and every one of you guys for touching down with your boy, man. Appreciate it. Round of applause to everybody out there that's watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys go ahead and do what we do as far as formalities. Like the show. Leave a comment in the comment section. If this is your first time watching, do your boy a favor. Click on that subscribe button and make sure your alerts are on all, right? Not just on, but all. You don't want it personalized. Set to all. That way you don't miss any of the 49ers news that I'm going to be bringing to you throughout the offseason, as well as the shows that we're going to have once the regular season hits up. We've got fantasy football shows. We've got all kinds of shows here when it comes to football and 49ers. So welcome to the WayneBreezie NFL channel. I hope you guys are liking what you see so far. And again, make sure you smash that like button. Don't forget to follow me on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, all them good platforms out there at the WayneBreezie. You can also subscribe to the podcast. If you just like to listen, you don't want to watch my face, that's fine. But if you want to just listen, if you're driving, you want to listen to it, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, those are booming right now. I appreciate all the love, all the ratings. Keep those coming, man. Keep those coming. We want to make this WayneBreezie Show one of the top 49ers podcast out there for everybody to listen to. And don't forget to check out our sponsors over at residency.com. Use that promo code SFBreezie and you, my friends, can save on your total purchase. All cool when it comes down to saving money. And if you want to support the stream, there's the Venmo, there's the PayPal, there's the Cash App. Also, you can go ahead and just join the channel right here on YouTube. Just click on that join button if you guys are watching. And don't forget to check out the exclusive content right there on the Patreon. Patreon.com/the WayneBreezie. All right. I hope you guys are having fun. Brock Purdy addressed the media on yesterday. And, man, what do you have negative to say about Brock Purdy? I mean, yeah, the things he can work on as far as his game, cool, but as far as his character, there is nothing negative you should say about Brock Purdy. We're going to talk about that because we're going to watch the presser right here on the show, kind of break it down and just go through some of the things and watch some of the questions that he was asked and how he was able to answer those questions. All right, now, as far as 49ers dates, OTAs, May 27th through the 28th. May 30th, June 2nd through the 3rd, June 5th, and then mandatory mini camp kicks off June 10th and 11th. And you heard Brock Purdy say he wanted to make sure he was there at the beginning of the beginning, right? When God created the heavens and the earth. Brock Purdy is part of the genesis of the San Francisco 49ers. He wants to be there in the beginning, and I'm sure he wants to be there in the end. All right. So Brock Purdy definitely will be discussing in a few. Let's talk about Diamador Lenore. Round of applause to Demo, 2025 Dwight Clark Award winner. All right, you can see Demo with his beautiful family holding that nice football. Demo looks good, man. Listen, man, I'm not saying money make the man, but this man definitely makes the money. Love the pink suit. I just love the style. He's taking me back to kind of like Miami Vice right here, and you know what? You're talking about a former 5th-round pick that it just seems like the world is against you, and you go out there and you're playing every day. You're out there every day. You're practicing every day. You're improving every day, and now you're starting to earn the accolades that are well-deserved. What more can you say about Diamador Lenore? We call him Demo here for those that are like, who's Demo? It's Diam. We call him Demo. He wants to be called Demo. We call him Demo, or we call him the Hyena, man. That's kind of like his animal nickname that he has from the faithful. But this kid is nothing but just a burst of sunshine out there on the football field, and you're starting to see him grow and mature as just as a man, right? You're watching him grow and mature. You're watching him become more vocal. You're watching him become with more attitude. You're watching him go out there, put up and back it up, right? Like you're watching Demo. It's like we're watching a young pup grow into a full grown dog, and I definitely love what Demo has done. During his tenure here, he earned his contract extension, the first to be extended too out of the big group, because he was extended during the season. So they gave him his extension, and Demo is definitely going to be a good, bright spot for the 49ers future moving forward. So Demo, man, continue doing what you're doing out there, and let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you guys feel about Deommodore Lenoir. He is, to me, the 49ers cornerback number one. I don't care where you play. This is how I know Demo is the man. They gave him his own group. He's the only one in a group. Now, if you look at DBs are defensive backs, right? So that consists of your cornerbacks and it consists of your safeties. Well, when they released the team positions and stuff like that, Demo was in his own group called DBs. Like they didn't put the safeties in there, they didn't put the cornerbacks in there. They put Deommodore Lenoir in that particular group. Like they gave him his own category. That's when I knew Demo was going to be the man. Okay, because when you can go out there and you can make sure you have your own group, that's something important, right? And you watch Demo play good in man coverage. You watch him play good in zone. He's a great tackler, and like I said, he just continues to grow out there on the football field. Very, very, very studious to the game. He's very smart, and I tell you, he's playing like a dog. So congratulations to Deommodore Lenoir one more again. All right, so the latest, the latest in Niners news as well, and this was per Aaron Wilson. All right, Aaron Wilson put out that the 49ers are looking to reunite with somebody familiar with the team. Let's bring up Mr. Ethan Waugh. Now, he was a part of the 49ers personnel department. You know what I'm saying? And this guy is going to be returning to the San Francisco 49ers, sounds like as an assistant general manager. This is where he was when he went to the Jaguars. So he left the 49ers after 17 seasons, became the assistant general manager for the Jaguars. All right, and now he's going to be returning to the San Francisco 49ers. And I do see a little bit of a typo right here. I don't think I can go out there and fix it right now. I think it's a little bit too late. And you know what? I'm going to try anyway. Let's just see if it'll allow me to edit. Nope, it's past my edit marker. But it should have said personnel department, so I do apologize for the typo. But I think you guys get the picture, right? But listen, the Niners are going to be bringing back a familiar face to the front office, right? So they're going to be bringing back a familiar face to the front office. Now, our former assistant general manager was Adam Peters, and I don't think we had an assistant general manager after Adam Peters left to go to Washington. And I know a lot of people feel like, is this gonna affect John Lynch? Absolutely not. If anything, it's gonna relieve some of the tension and some of the pressure for John Lynch. I think him having a guy like Adam Peters was huge because it allowed him to focus on other things, whether it was player personnel. It doesn't matter. And now I think John Lynch has been doing a good job dolo as the general manager. But, you bring in Ethan Waugh and you allow him to assist the general manager. You give him certain roles, and we'll see how that goes forth. But again, it's a front office move, man. And the Niners this offseason have been improving their coaching staff and their front office, right? I love it. I mean, you got assistant head coaches, you got coaches, you got coordinators. They've upgraded, in my opinion, this offseason with coaching. And so now they're continuing to upgrade in other areas like the front office. And I don't know what to say. I actually like it. And again, you're bringing back somebody that was familiar with the team. Now you can go ahead and look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you could be like, well, he was assistant to Trent Baalke. All right. Now, Trent Baalke obviously called all the shots and drafted a certain amount of players, but I mean, he learned how to be an assistant. He was an assistant general manager when he left the 49ers. He did work in the personnel department, not departure, but you would feel like now he has assistant general managing experience, and he'll come in and he'll learn even more under a better general manager like John Lynch, which was set, Ethan up for a nice, upgrade situation if he chose to go elsewhere and become a general manager. Or maybe John Lynch is grooming him to be the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers because John Lynch might be looking to do new things. Who knows? All I know is the Niners continue to find upgrades and upgrade where they need to. And now they're looking to add an assistant general manager in Ethan Waugh. So the Niners are continuing to make moves out there. So, let me know what you guys think about Ethan Waugh. You guys have any good memories of Ethan Waugh as he was with the San Francisco 49ers 17 seasons prior, to becoming assistant general manager with Jacksonville? Just let me know what you guys think. Now, let's talk about Brock Purdy, and I just heard today on KMBR, Brock Purdy says he's a top 10 quarterback. Now, I'm a big advocate on Brock Purdy being top 10. I probably have him slightly higher than top 10. Top 5 might be me pushing it. But top 10, I feel like Brock Purdy should be in that top 10. I feel like I got him like 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. Let me know. And I want to know what you guys think, And if you go back and you look at Brock Purdy's 2024 season, I don't understand why people felt like Brock Purdy was bad. If I pull up his stats, now we didn't win a lot of games. We only won 6 games, but when you look at Brock Purdy from a statistical standpoint, somebody explain to me how you finished with an 82.4 grade. Okay, we just talked about 2000. We talked about last year. You finished with an 82.4 grade. And you know what? I can show y'all this. Like, I don't have to sit here and tell you. So somebody, and I'm not one to just watch statistics. That's not me. I watch the games. I watch the film. But yeah, there were some games he struggled in, especially in the games with the inclement weather. All right, so he played poorly in those games. Let's go look at the inclement weather game too. We could go look at it. You could see he was really bad in that Buffalo game. And I'm trying to figure out what other games did it rain because I really can't remember off the top of the dome. And I'm sure some of you guys have really good memories. But at the end of the day, I feel like Brock Purdy played overall really well. We saw him run more. We saw him extend plays more. Brock Purdy almost threw for 4,000 yards without truly a number one wide receiver. You could say George Kittle is the number one wide receiver, but he's not. He's a tight end. At the end of the day, he's still a tight end. But Brock Purdy literally almost threw for 4,000 yards, and this is without a postseason because we didn't have a postseason. We finished 6-11. YPA number one, 8.5 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Oh, so the touchdowns were low. I feel like the interceptions were up there. He had that one game where he threw 3 interceptions. He had a couple of games where he threw 2 interceptions. But if he feels like he's a top 10 quarterback, I love it because I just feel like I don't see too many other quarterbacks other than those elite top 5 guys that we talk about all the time. The Joe Burrows, he's still in there for some apparent reason. I don't know how Joe Burrow's elite, but whatever. I'm not going to have that argument with you guys. No. But Lamar Jackson, the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, I feel like those are your top 3. And then I feel like it could get kind of iffy with it. That's just me. You could put Burrow 4 if you want. Some people really love Joe Burrow. And I'm trying to figure out what has he done that what people love so much. But I'm not a Joe Burrow hater. Jalen Hurts. Some people feel like he's in the top 5. Cool beans. Super Bowl champion. Say less. Once you get a Super Bowl champion, for me, it just boosts you up a little bit. So I feel like Hurts should be top 4, top 3, top 4. But that's why I said outside the top 5, and I still don't feel like I named a 5th. I feel like Brock Purdy can be considered definitely top 5 allegiance-ish, especially for what he's done since he's been in the league. That's just my opinion. But Brock Purdy says on KNBR, he put out he felt like he was top 10. And again, like just looking at what he did, I mean, you can see his big time throws are higher, 15 of those. He did have 17 drops from players on the season. He was sacked. Brock Purdy was sacked 31 times. You know what? Y'all feel like that's a lot, but it's not, man. There's quarterbacks that have been sacked like 80 times. Literally. That's why when we talk about the offensive line, yeah, it could be better. We need to draft better in the offensive line when it's time to draft. I definitely agree with that 1,000%. But for the 49ers, the offensive line works when it comes to Brock Purdy. He knows how to get the best out of his O-line. And again, that was with injuries plagued to the offensive line, particularly on the left side, right? Trent Williams was out. Aaron Banks was out. And then you had the center all the way to the right. They played all season long, and we were kind of like rotating and shuffling guys on the left side. So, that's Brock Purdy's blind side, be honest with you. So I thought he played particularly well. It wasn't what we saw the prior year, right? It was a different team he was throwing to, a different unit, all that good stuff, whatever. However y'all want to look at it. But let's take a look at his presser. And let's kind of like start analyzing some of the things Brock Purdy talked about or addressed here. And again, I liked it. I like what Brock Purdy had to say. And let's take it from the beginning.
First and foremost, just want to give glory to God and Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. And so that's first and foremost. And then I want to thank my wife, Jenna, for being by my side throughout all of this and being an amazing wife. My family. Just had my back and just growing up and them believing in me from the jump. And then just want to thank my agent Kyle just throughout this whole process and doing an amazing job. Thank you, Kyle. And obviously I want to thank the Niners, Jed York, the whole York family, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, Prague, Brian Hampton, all those guys, man. They did an amazing job. And for them to have my back and believe in me to lead this franchise and organization, man, I really appreciate them all. So with that being said, let's go.
So let's go. So first thing I'm noticing is Brock Purdy is starting to become enter that grown ass man phase. I see the peach fuzz growing around. I see the mustache coming in. I feel like we're going to get a Brock Purdy stash at some point this season. Something we've never seen before. Brock Purdy's has been into his marriage, I believe, 2 years. I think he's going into the second year of his marriage, so that's done. Doesn't have to worry about that. Not saying it was a distraction, just saying it was a little extra additive stuff from last year, but now that's situated. He's not going into a situation where it's going to be a distraction as far as getting the contract done, because he's going to talk about basically how he felt his agent handled everything and when he knew he was going to be a 49er.
Moment the last few days, have you taken some time to just reflect on your journey from unrecruited high school player even before that to where you are now, and what has it been like?
Yeah, I definitely have done some reflecting and just the process of all of it, not trying to be somebody that I'm not and rush the process of being a football player and getting better. Obviously my recruiting process was late. Third string quarterback going into my freshman year, then getting thrown into the starting role, getting drafted last, making the team, being a backup the whole season, then week 13 getting thrown in and then leading the Niners from that moment on. So there's just been a process to this whole thing in life, and that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around is, as a kid, obviously you see all these guys on TV, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and you want to be that one day. And for me, what I've realized, it just doesn't happen overnight. Like, you got to go through good, bad, tough times, the hard workouts, all the things to get there, and how you respond to adversity and all the things. But, man, am I grateful to be able to just stay the course. And this is just my story. I haven't tried to live out anybody else's story. It's just been where God has had me, and I've been all in on it. And extremely grateful to be in this position. And just it fires me up more than anything to want to continue to get better help this organization win. Nothing is set in stone yet in terms of how we are, or as a team, or this year, or the future going forward. It's every single day I have to come in and be present and work to earn success and just do my part for this team. So I'm excited.
So he talked about the process and basically what the process was like, you know, third string in Iowa at Iowa State, had to work his way to become the starting quarterback there, something that he was used to. That was adversity and on the collegiate level, which is so funny because he becomes the last pick of the draft. He's Mr. Irrelevant. You got to carry around that torch, right? And then all of a sudden, guess what he ended up being? He beat out the third string quarterback, and then he became Nate Sudfeld. And then they released Nate Sudfeld after already giving Nate Sudfeld guarantees. So they paid the guarantees. They ate the dead money, right? And then all of a sudden, he comes in, he wins that job. Then, due to injuries or whatever, Brock Purdy ends up becoming the starting quarterback. Now, he knew after he became that starting quarterback, you could tell by the way he played football that he was not trying to come out of the game ever. He was not trying to relinquish that position ever, and he played that way. The only thing that derailed Brock Purdy's development slightly, in my opinion, was the UCL tear to the elbow in the NFC Championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And that right there, adversity again. So now you're dealing with a kid that's already known how to deal with adversity from college. He was matured enough to handle that adversity on that level. And he said it. Every time is a different level of adversity. It's all about managing it. It's all about overcoming it. It's all about finding ways to deal with it. And that's what you're getting from your captain, a.k.a. QB1, a.k.a. Brock Purdy.
Back in January that you'd love to get it done by phase one of the off-season program. Didn't quite happen, but it's ahead of OTAs. How important was that for you, and were you pushing for that to happen so that you didn't have to have this hanging over you during the spring practices?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was hopeful to, get something done early, and it had been nice to have it done going into the off-season program as a whole. But obviously there's just a process to it, and both sides have their views, and that's the whole point of negotiating. But at the end of the day, I didn't want to lose sight of the main goal here, knowing that I'm going to be the quarterback for this team this year, and I have to come in and get better and grow our locker room and help the new guys, and I just wanted to be here from the jump and be the guy in there to continue to lead this place. And obviously we have to get better in areas, and I have to get better and all the things. But being here day one was a huge emphasis for me, regardless of having the contract done or not. But I had a lot of faith in, obviously, my agent and the Niners that we were going to get something done. Didn't know when exactly, but being here for phase one was huge for me.
So phase one were the off-season workouts. Phase two will start, I guess, with OTAs. That will be phase two. And then phase three will be training camp. For those that want to know what the hell phases are, those are going to be the phases. Brock wanted the contract to be done phase one. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way. But before phase two, which is when OTAs kick off May 27th, Brock Purdy was extended. So his dream got answered. His dream came true. Just didn't happen during phase one, but it still happened before this team kicks up and gears up to practice, right? And this is what Brock Purdy wanted, because he said, quote unquote, we need to be better. I want to be better. And I'm glad that I don't have to worry about none of this stuff. So that way we can focus on what we need to focus on, which is football. So Brock Purdy and football is key. Like, all he cares really is about playing football. At least that's what I believe. It's all he cares about. It's not necessarily about the money, about the contract. I mean, yeah, he wanted to get paid. Yeah, he wanted the contract to be done, and it got done. But you can tell that this kid is continually wanting to just grow.
When we last talked to you about 4 months ago, you were going to take a month off from throwing the football, give your arm and shoulder some time to rest. I assume you did that since you're throwing now, but how's your health? And then I mean, if you go back 2 years, you weren't even starting your throwing program yet. Does this kind of blow you away that you've come this far in the 2 years since that time, whether you knew where your career was headed?
Yeah. To answer your first part, my body feels great. Feel really healthy and 100%. And so it's just finding ways to get better. Obviously just with the new guys and running routes and watching the film and applying that to the field with the ways that we can right now. And then, just 2 years ago, obviously coming off of surgery, I didn't have OTAs, and even camp for me was 2 days on, 1 day off. So I was missing a day. And
I remember that.
so just being grateful that I'm out there and actually getting better and throwing and having an off season to work on fundamentals has been huge. And obviously I said that last year, but this year, we didn't make the playoffs, and we had some time away to actually decompress and think about, how the season went and actually do some real reflection.
That's important.
The year before, Super Bowl, and got married, and it just went so fast, and boom, we're right into the next season. But man, was I itching to come back, and just excited to get back with the guys, and just the energy and all the guys' mindset now coming back, man. The locker room, the workouts, in the weight room, the film room, you name it. Like there's a new kind of like re-energized feeling around the facility. So it's an exciting time. So
If you want to know what my favorite part of this presser was, it was him talking about the re-energized feeling. Okay, this team. He talked about decompressing. He talked about being well rested, but the re-energized feeling from the young guys pushing, the re-energized feeling from the vets that are returning. The locker room is great. The language is great. The community, the vibe, that to me is what was missing from last year. And I'll be the first to say that when Manti Te'o talked about that, he said something was off about the energy with the San Francisco 49ers. Something just didn't seem right. I didn't understand. I didn't agree with that. I'm not going to lie. I felt like this team was going to come back. They had a bad taste in their mouth. They lost the Super Bowl, and they were ready to come back on fire. And what we didn't realize is how the team actually looked. They were tired. They weren't energized. They didn't have enough rest. They couldn't decompress. It was just like, we lost the Super Bowl. We got to come back. We got to do it again. And it was hard. It was hard to deal with all that. Then on top of that, you pile on the injuries. It was just a weird vibe going around last season. You had the off-field, drama with the contract extension. You had the Brandon Ayuk situation. It was just a weird vibe. This year, all the contract negotiations have been done. The people that are extended were extended. And now the energy, or the re-energized group, is going to be back. Let's keep this going.
How involved were you with the process? And are there any terms or specific things that you felt strongly about that needed to be in that negotiation?
Obviously my agent did the negotiating, but would just keep me updated, throughout the week, and certain big moments and conversations that were had with the Niners, and then he would just call me and update me, and we both, before the whole thing started, sat down and we were like, all right, this is our vision. This is hopefully what we can get out of it and get what you deserve and have earned, and go from there. But obviously we want to, make sure that we're working together with our organization and setting up everybody for success. It's not just for me to get all the money as much as I can, but also hey, let's surround yourself with a great team and players and a great locker room, and all those things matter. So we definitely talked about that. And then, like I said, he would just update me periodically. But, there were some things that we wanted in there to protect me down the road and whatnot, in the contract and
They're
the
going to talk
language
about
and all that stuff. But he did an
no
amazing job
trade
with
clause
handling
later.
that and then breaking it down to me, what it is, what it means, and what we need to get, what we can give up, all that kind of stuff. That's just negotiating. And so, like I said, he did an amazing job, and I'm very proud of him.
What is the balance that you feel that you see is different? Is it a stark contrast to last season where there was some contract drama up and down, and now you've got not only your contract done, but George and Fred? Does that kind of settle everything?
Yeah, I feel like every year there sort of has been someone that it's like, man, you'd like to get them done, and it's gone on pretty late, and
he's addressing
whether
the
that
contract
has affected
drama.
the locker room or not, I'm not really sure. I don't want to just pinpoint something, but this year having the guys done and being able to get back to work and be around the guys in the locker room and just like build our culture and standard really from the ground up with all the new guys that we have. It's been pretty cool. And everybody's bought in right now, and we're excited, obviously, to do like more team activities and stuff as we move along the off season. But man, it's hard to explain. But the young guys, the older guys, everybody's is bringing it right now, and I think it's just so important that we're just around each other a lot, doing little different activities and continuing to build chemistry. Like that's the kind of stuff that matters, man. When you get late in the season and things get tough, and you go through some tough things as a team, like. You want to be able to know the guy next to you and what he's about. And
dropping bombs.
He's going to have your back and everything like that. So, anyways, having the contract stuff done, it's been a huge blessing for the whole team and organization.
All right, so he talked about the purpose of getting contracts done prior to all this stuff that's going on, right? Because like now you could really you're not focused on any of that. You can focus on each other. You can focus on building the bond. You can focus on team chemistry. You can focus on the intangible things that you need to focus on, right? Because Brock wants his team. He wants to be able to communicate with his team without talking. He wants to be able to communicate with his team through body language, sign language, any other type of way of communicating, verbal cues, just things to where this team is going to be on the same page. That way, when they see something late in the game, late in the season, late, they know how to interact with one another. And I think the bond is what's key here. I think the bond is what they're going to be working on, making it super strong. Brock Purdy, once again, is continuing to impress me just by his overall nature on how things are going to come to fruition. And look, you can say whatever you want when it comes to Brock Purdy because he signed this deal, but guess what? You got to give this man some credit. He made sure he signed this deal right before everything kicked off, which is what was his
wanted
goal
to set everyone up for flexibility. Do you mean you maybe left something on the table in an effort to help roster construction going forward?
I think where we ended up was exactly where we needed to be. I'm extremely happy with
that answer
where we
right
ended, and I know the Niners are too. And
ended up
with that being
exactly
said,
where we
man,
needed to
like
be.
For me, it's all about football now, and however, obviously they use the cap space and all that kind of stuff. Like that's not my job. My job is to now go and win games and lead this team. And but I'm extremely happy and grateful for where we ended with, and hopefully that answers your question.
Man,
The no trade clause important to you?
he's going to address the no trade clause right now.
I think it's important, yes, but also that's something that my agent and I discussed with what other quarterbacks have around the league and stuff in their contract. But for me, was it going to be a determining factor in signing it or not? No. Like we're very grateful that we had it in there, but at the end of the day, like I said, everything else that the contract entails, we're extremely excited about, so we're just grateful how it turned out.
What sort of advice did you get from the guys on the?
He said that the no trade clause wasn't going to be a determining factor of him signing his contract extension, but he is happy that that was in his contract extension because he's seen other quarterbacks, his agent, seen other quarterbacks have that included in their contracts. So, yeah, this was a great bonus added to his contract to where Brock can choose the team. If the team tried to trade him, like he could say, nah, I don't want to go there. Nah, I don't want to go there. So that gives him a little flexibility and power. But he said that was not the determining factor in his contract extension.
The building that have gone through this, specifically with George and Fred, and does it help at all to go through this at the same time they're going through it again?
A little bit, yeah. I think they did a great job, just giving me a heads up, like, hey, man, this is how negotiating is, and obviously it's a business, but this is sort of what you can expect. This is, what we experienced and went through, and don't hang your head on this or that. Like, they did a great job with, giving me some real good advice going into it. Same with Bosa and all those guys. And and then obviously they're going through an extension at the same time, and everybody's contract and situation is different. We're not all in the same exact boat, but just when it comes to the negotiating, you want to get a deal done. You want to have that stress off your shoulders and just focus on football. So I think we were all able to relate in that way. But yeah, man, those guys definitely looked out for me and gave me a heads up.
Every contract's different, Brock. So what did you learn about
Now
the
pay attention
situation,
to
the
this. I
business,
like this
the
right
team,
here.
yourself?
Yeah, I think, man, I just love playing football. I love getting around the guys in the locker room, and that's what I want to make the main thing. And so something that I learned throughout the process is, hey, man, like how can I, even though we're going through this business side of things, how can I still be present in the locker room and love on these guys and build trust and character within the whole organization, even though this contract negotiation thing is going on. I didn't want to lose who I was throughout all the process. I feel like you've seen stories and things around the league at times where people can act uncharacteristically and because they might be hearing some things. But for me, what I've learned is it is a business, but that doesn't mean I have to change. I can continue to be who I am and stay true to that and have faith that
Okay,
it'll get
Brock.
Brock, there's an idea that you're such a nice guy and been paid relatively
Said I ain't got to
little,
change who I
that you were
am,
just, you're
regardless
so
if
nice
this is
that
a
you weren't
business or
gonna,
not.
you know,
I'm gonna
drag
be
these
me.
things out and
I like
everything.
that.
I mean, is there any element of that, because at the same time, this is your market, you've earned this. I guess, was there a balance between, hey, I don't want to make
Good
this
questions
difficult,
too by
but
the
I
beat
also
writers.
want
Good
to
questions by the beat writers.
get what I deserve?
Yeah. Man, I have so much respect for everybody in this organization from the top down. And so I think they know who I am and what I'm about. And I don't know if there was a narrative of Brock's going to take a pay cut because he's a nice guy or this or that. But for me, it's, man, I play in the NFL. There's 32 starting quarterbacks. And those guys, like it's not the easiest job in the world. And for me, with what I've done and everything, I could hang my hat on the fact that, I've had success in this league and I'm capable of leading an organization all the way to the end, the Super Bowl. I've proved that. And so for me, I know who I am, and I'm going to, obviously want to get what I deserve, but also surround myself, like I said, with guys around me and not just try to take every penny for myself. But that's the whole point of negotiating. You go throughout that, you try to meet in the middle ground, and where we ended, man, I'm extremely grateful and happy with. So, yeah.
Now I got a question. Is there anybody in this league that is more selfless than Brock Purdy? I mean, I know he's saying all the right things. Hey, I wasn't trying to get every penny. I know I need a team. I got to make sure that this, like, we're built the correct way, a certain way, so that we can continue to compete at an elite high level. I'm trying to figure out, because this is some selfless talk. And, I mean, I'm sure everybody wants to be the highest paid this, highest paid that. But when you look at Brock Purdy, he's not. He's the 7th highest paid quarterback. And he's continually saying that I want to make sure that, my teammates can eat, basically. Because I want a team. I don't want it to be just me. And you know what? Maybe more players will start looking at situations, particularly quarterbacks. Quarterbacks can kind of do this. There's a lot of wiggle when it comes to playing the quarterback position. You're going to be the highest paid on the team. And at the end of the day, you kind of have the most room to work with. And so it sounds like Brock's taking a page out of a former GOAT. I'll leave it at that. Like, he's taking a page out of that playbook, negotiating book. So let's keep it going.
Offseason started with 6 or 7 starters leaving. And not a lot coming in. And meanwhile, you got your own negotiations. What were you thinking during that period? Were you communicating with 49ers always saying, we're going to get to you? This is not across the board cutting. What was the messaging back and forth then?
I mean, they all call my agent, and we're definitely talking pretty early. And so for me, I knew that, they know and think that I was a priority at the time, even though there was a lot of changes and turnover happening within the organization and players. So I knew that they were thinking about me and that they were talking to my agent and stuff. But like I said, with the timing of how these contracts and things happen, they don't just happen overnight. Like, there's a process to it. And I was just where I was at with my life, being with my wife and training and not trying to get consumed with, I need to get this done by next week or the week after. My mindset was it could take however long it takes, but I need to get better this offseason. And obviously I was finding out just like everybody else with my teammates leaving and going to other teams and places, and I was extremely happy for them getting paid and all that kind of stuff. But I also understand that, man, that's the nature of the sport. It's a business, and players go to different places and stuff, and you got to bring in new guys and build up a new culture and team, and that's part of it. But I didn't get consumed by it. Obviously, it does, suck when you build up this brotherhood, and Dre Greenlaw was my locker room partner, and
Gonna miss Dre.
right next to me, and then now he's gone, and it's like, man, that stinks. But
Gonna miss Dre.
It's also it's part of the game. So, still trying to comprehend it a little bit. So,
And John mentioned, you mentioned earlier that you had big up and down moments throughout the negotiation, being prepared for those. What were one or two moments along the way that maybe helped you believe it was getting done, or even maybe the opposite way, that it was going to take a while?
Yeah, I think, it was just an open communication from the get-go. I think I always had faith that, all right, they started with a very respectable first offer, and from there the communication between them and my agent was great, and they talked a lot, and there was no drama involved. And so for me, I think all those moments added up to be like, for me, I just had faith that it was going to get done, and that these guys had my back, and that they want to get something done relatively quick and smooth and all that. But and then obviously last week we knew that we were at the number, and we just had to get a couple things figured out within the language of the contract, and
Bingo!
And that it was going to be a go. And I just didn't know what day that was going to be or whatnot. And sure
The
enough,
number was in the books.
we were golfing. My wife and I were golfing at the Olympic Club with Jake Brendel and his wife, and we got a text from my agent saying it's done, and answered John Lynch's FaceTime. And so, yes, it was the late course, yeah. So.
Asked about the progress with this deal, and he said there's no guarantee that it would get done. When you heard that, did that surprise you? How did you take that?
I mean, it's the truth. You never know with how negotiations go, if something's going to be said in a certain way that makes the other party, a little bit frustrated or whatnot. And so it's just the truth. And that's, I didn't take any offense to it at all. Obviously, for me, it was, where am I at in the off season? How can I get better? And
once again,
things are always going to be said in the media
that's
that
how he can improve.
May come off in a certain way, whether it's true or not. And so I didn't buy into every single thing that people were trying to make it to be. And so obviously I knew like what was real and what was happening behind closed doors, because my agent and I were literally talking to them and stuff. So it's all good.
Yeah, it looks like you've had a great off season, and that you really have embraced things, and you want to be coached hard. You really want to get better.
Now, this
there
is where
something
Brock
looking
talks
back at
about
last year that you can point
where
to
he's going
that
to
you
improve,
specifically
where
this
he's going to get
offseason
better.
are
This is a
trying to
great
improve
question.
that?
I like this question about Larry
Yeah,
Cooper.
I think, man, just fundamentals in general. And I know it sounds, cheesy or whatnot, but just watching the film and stuff, like my footwork. And
Hold up. Brock talked about getting better just off of one word: fundamentals. When I talk about going back to the basics, this is exactly what I mean. I feel like a lot of the Niners games that they lost last season was fundamentally sound. They lost because they just didn't have the proper fundamentals. Like, they forgot what the basic of tackling was, or the basic of whatever. And I like that my captain, the leader of this team, said, I need to get better based off of fundamentals. Let's go ahead and finish out the Brock Purdy. I just like that.
and being on point and not getting too comfortable within a situation or game. I actually have gone back and watched a lot of my rookie tape, and when I first got in, how I was on it. And all I knew was what they coached me, my footwork, and where my eyes need to be. And so sort of sinking back to those fundamentals and applying that to OTAs and the field work every single day, and having that fire in me every single rep. And so it's been pretty cool. And then obviously just being around the young guys, man, and them coming in and not knowing a whole lot, like seeing like, hey, this is how the coaches teach it and it works. You got to trust that and go all in on that. So, yeah, the fundamentals.
It was the elbow and last season getting past the Super Bowl, and then this season the contract. You kind of feel personally,
Couple of more
professionally,
questions,
just a sense
guys.
of kind of calm and being settled into where you need to be.
Yeah, I think, that's just something that I've learned in the NFL, man. There's always going to be something, that you're going to be going through or facing, and it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be easy. But I know who I am. Like I've said to you guys a million times, like with my faith, and It's bigger than football, but I think knowing that has allowed me to handle all the things that come my way, whether it's a surgery or a contract or losing a big game. I know who I am, and it just fires me up to go and defy the odds after that. And so, yeah, it's just part of it.
Is there something fun or special that you thought, hey, when I signed this, I'm going to buy
Get your fishing
this
gear
for my
ready,
wife, my parents,
baby.
even yourself? Like, is there a big purchase or something? Maybe it's something small that now you can actually go get.
Man, we're still thinking about some stuff, but I don't know. I've always been a big fishing advocate, so I was telling my wife, and she's annoyed with me, but I'll say it. But I'd like to get a bass boat one day. So, yeah, that'll be my first big purchase. Anyways, thanks, guys.
That's going to be his first big purchase. He's going to get a bass boat. For those that don't know, a nice little fishing boat where you could go out there and catch some sea bass, right? Like, so Brock Purdy addressed the media, and I mean, I don't know how you cannot like this guy. And first of all, he's a good quarterback. He plays very well. I have him as elite when it comes to his processing for sure. And I'm hoping that if he gets back to his fundamentals, you go out there and you watch Brock Purdy his rookie year. He said that he just trusted everything the coaches said, opposed to putting the things on him. He just trusted the coaches. Now he's not going to have Greasy anymore. It's going to be a new quarterbacks coach in Mick Lombardi, so that's going to be interesting to see. But the simple fact that he said he wanted to get back to fundamentals, all Brock talked about, even in the contract negotiations, were things that were not of himself. And the only time he became selfish is when he talked about how he could get better, where he needed to improve, and things like that. And for me, I'm excited when it comes to seeing what Brock Purdy and the 49ers have in store for this upcoming 2025 season. I can't wait to watch more of his pressers, break more of his pressers down, because I just feel like Brock understands the adversity is there. He's gone through the adversity. He's shown how he can overcome some of the adversity. The only thing Brock hasn't done here is got this team a Lombardi, but I feel like this team has a better chance at winning that Lombardi with Brock than they do without Brock. There's not another quarterback. I don't want any other quarterback. I want Brock Purdy to continue to grow. He's already talking about how he could be better. He's already talking about how he can help make this team better. And that right there, from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint, and from a financial standpoint, Brock Purdy is going to make the 49ers be able to be competitive for the next 5 seasons. I can promise you that. $265 million deal extension that he signed. Brock Purdy will be the quarterback for the 49ers for the next 6 seasons, including this one, obviously, upcoming. And if you're not excited, that's fine. But trust me, Brock is going to help lead this team to that promised land. He, in my opinion, puts the word faith and faithful. I mean, he's a guy that is just really high on his faith. He had faith that this deal would get done. It got done. He has faith that this team can win. They're going to win. So I'm trusting what Brock Purdy is saying. I think Kyle Shanahan is going to make sure that Brock has the best chance of leading his team to victories from an offensive standpoint. Kyle already addressed his team as far as getting better defensively by bringing back Robert Saleh. So I think the sky's the limit for Brock. The sky's the limit for the 49ers. And I think right now they're going to be, everybody's on the same page. I think that's the best thing that I'm getting from this situation. Can't wait to hear from some of the other 49ers out there. Maybe Fred Warner. We already heard from George Kittle, so I can't wait to hear from some of these other guys. Again, congratulations to all the contract extended players. Brock Purdy, freaking Fred Warner, George Kittle, Diamador Lenore. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to the rookies. You guys are going to be getting your stint off very soon. And I'm excited to see the 49ers. So buckle up, faithful. We'll be back for more WayneBreezie shows for sure. Keep it faithful to the Bay. Don't forget to smash that like button. Peace.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.